Hey there, it's Sunny D. Happy Thursday. I hope that you had a blessed day and that you're having a peaceful and relaxing evening. I wanted to share something with you that I found online today by Proverbs 31, and it really is thought-provoking. As the world opens up again, I wonder, what if we're not supposed to return to the way it was before? What if part of God's purpose for us is to not go back, but to move forward? At the beginning of the book of Joshua, normal for the Israelites has just ended. Moses, their leader for over 40 years, has died. What would the future look like? They knew what to expect of Moses' leadership, but what about Joshua's? Joshua begins his new role with this command to the officers of the people: prepare your provisions, for within 3 days you are to pass over the Jordan and go in to take possession of the land of the Lord your God is giving you to possess. Sounds great, except that crossing the Jordan River would be a very scary experience, especially at flood stage. God promised to protect them as they crossed the waters. What God didn't promise was to first remove their fear of the rushing waters. Instead, he promised to take his step after they took theirs. Sure enough, as soon as their feet were dipped in the brink of the waters rose up in a heap very far away. Any fear they had floated down the Jordan as they moved across the river on dry ground. Maybe the reluctance some of us feel about returning to normal is actually a gift from God, an opportunity like the Israelites had to move out in faith and find our new forward. We may have to step in faith before God steps out to fulfill his promises. It's possible God doesn't want some of us to go back to the hustle of normal, but instead he has been using the season to reveal a part of life we were missing before. In this season, each of us has a unique opportunity to ask God how he wants us to move forward. He may want to give you new insight into how to spend your moments and invest your days for his glory. Now that really had me thinking, I have to tell you, because I know that I look back now in retrospect and my normal probably isn't God's best for me. And I was busying myself with a lot of things that I didn't really need to be focusing on. And, this whole quarantine pandemic has really opened my eyes. I spend more time with the Lord. I really went through like a pressing and a crushing and trusting God. I shared, I don't think I was doing my videos back then, but when COVID first happened, all my faith just fell to the wayside and I started to panic and I was terrified of catching COVID. And, I really had a hard time with that because I knew as a believer and as somebody that's constantly shining God's light and sharing the gospel, how could I be so afraid? Why wasn't I trusting him? And it was a really hard process for me to go through, but I learned to lean in more to God, even more so than I thought I had been doing. And, I thought that my life was good. I read my Bible every day. I prayed all the time. I constantly shared Jesus with other people. And, I thought I was good, but throw in a pandemic and I realized that I wasn't where God needed me to be, and there was a lot of growth that needed to happen. So, I think that there's a lot to think about with this devotional about going back to normal. And, should we just return back to the way things were, or can we take the lessons that we learned and start applying them to our future? And I think that's a really good, a really good thing there. So I wanted to share that with you. I'm hoping that maybe it has you thinking about what normal is for you and what the future should look like for you. I know for me, it definitely is different than it was back in February of 2020. So I hope that spoke to you a little bit. I am wishing you a blessed night, a blessed Friday, and please don't forget, love God and love others.